Have you ever felt the same like I do? People somehow appear to be worried and get pissed off over some really little things at some point. Let's get more specific. Imagine two individuals discussing a collaborative project that requires sharing costs. One person believes that splitting the cost is not a big issue, while the other shows resistance and unease. One individual notices the emotional change and patiently asks for further discussion with open attitude. Although it initially appears to be a matter of money, it is later discovered that individuals' true concern is the fear of conflicts and disharmony arising during the collaboration. As an only child, she never had experience in close relationships with others. Imagine a teenager who displays extreme resistance and negativity when faced with studying. During a conversation, when the topic of loving the people around you to the best of your ability is mentioned, he breaks down in uncontrollable tears, refuses to continue the conversation, and isolates himself in his room. After some attempts, he opens the door again. As the conversation progresses, he gradually reveals his inner pain and disappointment stemming from past experiences of unfair treatment. This has led him to resist studying to cope with his inner pain. When asked if he is willing to listen to his friend's advice, he said yes, and the reason is that they know him well. These are small cases, but very common in our lives nowadays. Sometimes it can go worse to bring about serious conflicts and even cause physical injury. But as we can see, most of the time, they are not really be angry with the little things. We can't help thinking, what's wrong? We see anger, anxiety, and other negative emotions in our daily lives as manifestations of hurt. Multiple authoritative studies have indicated that childhood and emotional experiences have a decisive long-term impact on individual development and psychological well-being. All events are neutral, and it is the past wounds of individuals that cause them to project their fears and worries onto these things. This kind of hurt not only hinders a person's progress towards grand ideals, but also affects their daily life and healthy relationships with others. Will you believe that everyone was born with a destiny? That's something we want deeply in our hearts. When we were children, naive and full of hope, we feel free to do whatever we want with our lives. Imagine that throughout your life, nothing really traumatized you. Would you be happier? Would you feel free to live out yourself? We always say childhood is the most crucial and precious time of one's life. Perhaps it's a period you have the freedom to explore whatever you want. That's true selves we are living with. Gradually, we step into the world where we interact with other people's wants. Since people are imperfect, experiences in the world are full of confusion and injuries, which makes us ponder, is that really what I want? We come to live in our ego. We start to deviate from our own path due to the lack of solid belief of our own destiny and unique selves. That's why nowadays we feel pressure from society, family, and people around us. Now, what I want to do is to help people see through all those super illusions, know themselves well, and come back on their own path again. We know that once people are not doing what they want, they appear to be anxious and depressed at different levels. So there is something deeply inside we need to discover and heal. But why? Anger is simpler to face than pain. Are they truly willing to be angry? Multiple studies indicate that love and being loved are universal human needs. When we can see the hurt and vulnerability behind their anger and approach them with understanding and acceptance, they can lower their defenses and find greater courage to confront their own pain. To make it clearer, let's go through the demand analysis. Current solutions are mainly implemented in three ways with limited effects. Some people mitigate their anxiety and depression by letting out their anger and all those negative emotions. And some might transform them by doing sports or hobbies. The common in both is that they don't really deal with them. Only a few people will consult therapists. According to the data, only around 36% with anxiety disorders receive any treatment in high-income countries, while an even lower share in lower middle-income countries. Data on global mental health has two main limitations. Our understanding of global mental health depends on people's willingness to share their symptoms and contact healthcare professionals to receive a diagnosis and treatment. The current extent of the problem is that people must discover their mental problems and seek for support to heal themselves. The World Mental Health Service estimated that 1 in 10 people met the criteria for anxiety disorders in the past year on average across countries. Mental illnesses are a major part of the global health burden and remain untreated for many people. With such a big gap between the problem and solution, we want to expand the boundaries of the problem to help people discover mental problems by creating a safe and precise treatment environment. We design a journey for users to explore. This journey is divided into 5 stages, which are connected by a complete storyline with different focuses. The first stage is awareness. Users can identify their negative emotions such as anger and anxiety by referring to an emotional scale, becoming aware of their current state and that's not themselves, under guidance of cognitive behavioral therapy. The second stage is recognition. Users experience the emotional changes along a design storyline, recalling painful memories, facing them again from a new perspective, and expanding their awareness through acceptance commitment therapy. Third stage is search. The storyline helps users find ways from past experiences to overcome similar pain, using solution-focused brief therapy. The fourth stage is healing. The storyline extends to the user's childhood, uncovering the deepest roots and utilizing narrative therapy techniques. The final stage is reshaping. By the end of the story, we aim to help users rediscover their childhood desires, find their own unique selves, and gain the courage to be themselves. Users can choose to share all the data with us for in-depth counseling and therapy, or keep it private for personal exploration. The whole journey will happen in the metaverse. Users will make various forms of responses such as speech, behavior, and physiological signals while experiencing and exploring these scenes, which can all be collected as data. We will first train the machine learning model with references in the field of psychology and use large language models to conduct preliminary analysis. Trained counselors can utilize the machine-generated initial conclusions to explore deeper levels of pain. Now, imagine entering a private and incredible metaverse, accompanied by adorable AI pets and equipped with all sorts of detection devices. You step forward. Along the way, you experience a range of emotions that touch your heart and trigger deep feelings. Much like watching a movie, except this time, you are the star. In this immersive experience, You have the power to choose your emotions on the panel, which then fits into a large AI language model. This model generates personalized guidance to help you navigate through the journey. If there are any physical signals you didn't react to, the Q-pad may ask for your attention. Unlike our fast-paced daily lives, this virtual world allows us to see things from a higher perspective, gaining insight and processing our emotions to achieve greater understanding. Users are not treated as patients, but individuals to explore and experience stories. This unique approach helps users understand themselves better and process their emotions. Students can contribute to the project either by diving into these project topics under the guidance of academic supervisors or defining their own research topic within the scope of the project, bringing in their own academic supervisor. The most valuable thing about a person is their individual personality. A person should cultivate themselves, develop enough knowledge, abilities, and emotions, and only then can they truly help others. This journey eventually guides people to feel love within and around them and gain inner freedom to do whatever they want with their lives to contribute their value to the world. Love is always the strongest power in the world. Thank you for your listening.